All right, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. This is CCRevolution, and we're bringing you a recording today on the water from somewhere in some place in the world. And I'm here today with a couple of guys who are going to become a big part of our Extra Bites. I'm here with a gentleman by the name of Alan and a gentleman by the name of Ashley. This is our new CEO and COO, respectively. And we're just going to talk off the cuff today about a few things and bring you guys up to speed with kind of what's been happening, where we're going, and some of the energy that's starting to build around the addition of these two guys to our Extra Bites team. So we'll start with Alan. Alan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, Dave. I've spent a lot of time in Discord lately, and a lot of interest as to where you've been.
Where I've been, yeah. Well, I, as you guys may have picked up along the way from various recordings I've done, I was actually very, very sick. I can say life-threatening sick. So I had to pull out back in April. After that point, just too many things were affecting my health, and it was just going the wrong direction. So the decision was to pull out and not do anything more with business at that point. And the decision between myself and our leadership team was that we would not announce anything like that, because it would put a fear that could possibly impact the company, and we didn't want that to happen. And so the decision was, until we can get some leaders in place who are going to take over, that we wouldn't say anything. But I am happy to report that with my background with natural health and this kind of stuff, I've been able to turn myself around tremendously. I'm on the right track. Things are going very, very well. I've just had new blood tests come back in, and I'm in the right direction. So I'm very happy to say that my health is improving again, and we're on track. So I'm here, and I've been active again for about the last couple of weeks, and feeling very good. So that I'm happy to report.
Oh, you're looking very well, Dave.
Thank you, Ashley.
All right. Well, I'm glad to see that you're definitely on the right track, because we're on for one heck of a ride.
We certainly are.
We are definitely, and it's good to have you in good health, because we're going to be working very hard to make sure we execute the vision that you and he like to see, because I am still having troubles with his online name.
That would be Borzal. You can call him Zoltan if you want.
Okay, Zoltan, and I would prefer to use Zoltan. Much more easy to remember. Listen, we're excited. We've made some life changes that are going to allow us to really focus on building something really special. We feel that with our background and our ability to look forward, see the vision of the future, align with you guys, is going to be just tremendous in the success of the company. So I'm very, very happy to be a part of this.
Excellent. It's good to have you on board.
Just to Ashley there, a lot of you don't know us yet. We come from a corporate background, and we're looking to take our expertise from that corporate background world and apply it to our next chapter in our lives, and that's the exciting chapter of Extra Bites. It's a lot of exciting things going on with them, and we're going to be locked up for a good 5 days with both Dave and Zoltan, and planning out the strategy to execute and to take this company to the next level.
And that is actually how this all started in the first place, and going back to me when I was unwell. I didn't know if I was going to be able to come back at that point. I really didn't. I had no idea. It was not a good prognosis. And through my being unwell, these guys have actually been with us as investors for, we just figured out, a little over a year. So I've talked to Alan a lot over the last year, and it came up that I was sick, and these guys were looking for a change. And I'd like you guys now to tell me what attracted you the most. And this goes back to our first conversation now. What attracted you the most to wanting to make that change and being willing to make that change, to come on board a company that's very much at the foundation stage? So what was it that your background and Ashley's background and your way of doing things attracted you to this?
Dave, we've had comfortable lives in the corporate world, and with comfort comes a little bit of, I'll say, boredom. It was time for a change to get into building something new, and there's a few things that make people tick. One could be money, another one could be power, and then the last one is the ability to build things or take things and really progress it to the next level. And that's where I think my excitement is that, like you said, we are at the ground floor, and it gives us the ability to build something very powerful and game-changing and, life-changing for a lot of people in the world.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you, Al. It's, one of the things that I look at is I've been a part of some very cool projects and ventures globally within North America, and I'm always looking at it, like we call it the challenge. How do we use our assets, the skills that we have to propel and push something forward and make something really cool? We talk about, the fact is that we had a very comfortable position within, some large corporations. But at the end of the day, we became what do you call a statistic or a number. And we want to make sure we put our stamp on something good, and leveraging our experiences over the years. Personally, myself, when I look at things, I'm much more of a visionary. Ever since I was a kid, I was fascinated with technology. So, being a part of one of the world's largest technology companies is nice. It looks great on your resume. But really, what have you done meaningful in your life to contribute to people's to their lives? So I believe, this venture moving forward, we're going to have some really cool technology that's going to have a positive impact on the way people live and learn and love. And I think that's going to be key on the success of what we do. And that's what really interests me the most, is how we're going to have a significant impact, in society in general. We're not localizing it. We don't think localization. We think globally. So it's not about what's in our backyard. It's about how do we improve other people's backyards. And I think that's what I really get driven by, is that we're going to have some significant impact on the way people are going to be able to live their lives more, hopefully a little bit more happy and more fulfilling.
Okay, so a question for both of you guys again. This is kind of coming from what you just said there, Ash. You have had the time now to look at what we're doing. You haven't really done a real in-depth analysis of our tech. That's going to happen when we get together with boards. But you have some understanding of what's happening out there in the crypto world. And you have a larger understanding now of what's happening in the XTRABYTES world. So tell me how you guys feel about that.
What we've been introduced to, and I know we can't talk too much about patents or anything like that, but the technology that is being worked on by XTRABYTES and what you've shared with us so far is extremely exciting, in the sense that it may not take as much power with the proof of signature and the way that your technology works. There's just a lot of exciting things, and unfortunately we can't reveal what those are, but stay tuned, and once that patent gets locked down, or the patents, then we'll be at a better place to discuss what that means.
Discuss all that stuff, for sure.
And one of the things that I've noticed so far is the existing team right now, the foundation that that's been sitting, well, I guess from the beginning of when we started off the second phase of XBY.
We started growing the team on a more consistent and stable basis after we brought out XFuel.
So what I look at is the way people are reacting and that we're engaging in right now. And there's a lot of really good talent. And one of the things that I love is to see is the passion, the commitment that people are making right now within the organization. And that is a true signature. You've got something right. You've got a really positive thing. When people are really committing and they're passionate about something, that's half your job really done. It's just putting them on the right course. And that's what me and Al are really going to be looking at doing, is driving the direction, making sure that, we start to say the things we're going to do, and execute in time and on time. And when you have people who are very passionate about what they do and how they do it, it makes your job a lot more easier. We're only at the infancy stage of growing something very successful, and it's only going to get better and bigger. So those core people right now that are listening, that are been working with us already on just first the discovery part of the business, I'd like to say thanks for the great work they've done. And I think that moving forward, we're going to be just, re-strengthening the team and rebuilding the team out. So, we'll be hiring more people with the same type of passion of wanting to make positive change in the world.
Very good. And that kind of brings me back to just a reminder to everybody where we've come from. It's an amazing journey we've been on, because this started, in February of 2017. And there was just two guys who had a vision to recover something that we had lost in, and we had a handful of people who were in that same boat, who were our initial community. And from there, we've grown, and it took a long time to get to the point where we had people working for us in a stable way. But we had the community there, and we moved forward very well with a very strong community. A lot of interaction, a lot of great excitement, enthusiasm has been coming from the community, and in fact, our workforce has come from the community as well. It's been exciting, and so to be able to take something that was more or less a complete write-off and was going to go into the oblivion and become nothing, to turn it into what we have today is really, and we've discussed this before, it's just a matter of fate and serendipity, I guess you can call it, and just a matter of the right guy coming along and needing someone to help him, and that person happened to be me, who caught that message and had the ability to do that. And what are we in February? So we're 14, 16 months later, to be sitting here out on the water in a boat with a couple of guys who are taking us to the next level from a corporate standpoint. Because as you all know, I don't have that corporate background, and I'm very happy to say that that's not my thing, and that's okay, because I knew that we were putting something together that was attractive, that was obvious, and it just took a matter of time before we found a couple of guys who saw the vision with us and were wanting to take it to the next level. And so we are going to be growing our workforce, and the XTRABYTES team is going to become stronger, and it really is an exciting time to be here and watching this grow.
So one thing, Dave, that I've noticed is that, as we've been doing our research on the company and trying to understand all the various facets of the company, you have Discord out there, and I've been poking around in the general room, and I've realized that there's a lot of good members there that are expressing a lot of concern around timing, things like that. When's the CEO coming? When's the COO coming? When's the patent coming? Things like that. And then you've got a lot of negativity on there that just, it seems to breed negativity. And in the corporate world, that's one thing that we find that people vote with their wallets. So if they're happy and they're content with the direction we're going, and they have the patience, then they're going to buy more XBY or invest in these notes. When you've got the people that aren't happy, they tend to sell and they move on. But for whatever reason, there seems to be that negativity within that Discord channel, and I'm not sure if that's something that we want to continue with. We want a feedback mechanism for sure. There's a lot of good comments in there, but they just seem to be overrun by some negativity in there. So I don't know what your feedback is on that.
Yeah, it's a good point. We have been discussing this a lot. It's a problem for sure, and the direction that we're heading, which we're going to get into further discussions here, I think, without getting into too much detail, is that we are going to be expanding our sphere of influence, looking at different corporations, different investors, groups, and this kind of thing is where the marketing plans are heading. And quite frankly, we don't need that kind of negative anchor that's holding us back, because quite frankly it does. And it's unfortunate because there's so many good, positive people and I want to thank you all, you know who you are, who are bringing these people who are getting into this negative state of mind and bringing them back around. Like just the other day, there was another silly conversation going on, which with a wallet that popped up with 95 million coins in it. Well, that's probably that's probably Cryptopia. I'm thinking that they changed their method of doing things, because we used to have a wallet on there a long time ago that had 650 million in it, and there was people who owns all those coins. It's just silly that people get into this state of mind, and it ended up being CCX because that was our first exchange. All the coins started on CCX, and then once people started logging in and taking their coins off CCX, then of course all those other wallets started to pop up. Well, all of a sudden now we have somebody with 95 million coins and it's CCR he's exiting. Come on, guys.
Really?
Seriously? I am in this for the long haul. This is a dedication to my life, and to be so sick and to not want to quit to the point that I was endangering my life, it should be enough to tell anybody that I'm not going anywhere. We are here to make this thing a success.
Yeah, I think sorry, Dave, but I think it's just a lack of knowledge or understanding
yeah.
But things work.
It's also a lot of people who are trying to influence the market, who try to manipulate the market, and it's not acceptable because we don't want to have our team going out there and doing presentations with groups of investors. And, by the way, we're working on some very powerful presentations right now to get to a new level of presenting to a different breed of investor, because that's where we believe the market has to go. The crypto market itself is... it is what it is. These people are already here. And, for some strange reason, they're investing in ICOs who have absolutely nothing to offer except for a nice splash page. And they bring the coin price up to $1 or more. And yet we're sitting here with some of our technology already on the table and continuing to work on it. And yet we're so undervalued. It's crazy. And people aren't able to see that because we have this negativity happening in our channel. And we have a nice interview, a nice write-up, I should say, from somebody, I forget who. This is going back 3 months ago or so. And a lot of good information. And then at the end, however, there's a problem in the community because they're all up in arms because the patents are late. Like, seriously, guys? This is about the patents?
Yeah.
Who cares about the patents? We're going to get the patents. That's coming. Relax.
Maybe Ashley can shed some light on how long a patent takes, especially one that we're working on worldwide.
When I hear and I see once again the negativity and the different forms, I have a little chuckle because unless you really understand the mechanisms that are required, it's not something as easy right now. But who says somebody can create a technology in the future that will include a way to increase the speed of contracts and patents.
Like a smart contract.
Like a smart contract. Wow. That would be something if somebody came up with an application or a model that would fit on a platform. So we have to be patient. The due diligence, we're not talking regional, we're talking global. So things take a little longer when we talk about global aspects of things, and the time it takes to get things done can be somewhat tedious because you want things, yesterday. Unfortunately, in the real world, things aren't happening yesterday. They may take, a week to 2 weeks, based on if you have the right information in the right place with the right people doing the right things at the right time.
And a lawyer that understands.
And a lawyer that understands everything. We're going to be talking to a much larger audience on a global scale. And how we can align with that. So, the negative thing doesn't help us, but I think most of the positive thing that people have been putting out there, is definitely the way to go. And, that's, Al knows that I don't spend too much time looking at the negative. I focus more on the positive things.
Well, I think the more productive way and the more corporate way to do things is to have a complaints channel, complaints at XTRABYTES.global. And if you want to go post stuff on Reddit, go ahead, because we can always have people go in there and set the record straight, but we can't do that on Discord, and we don't know who's reading at whatever time and what it affects. And so it's just to me, I think it's just something that's bringing more negative than it's worth. And so are we going to shut it down right now? No, I don't think that's fair. I think a fair warning to let you guys know that you have to police that room, and I've said this more than once. You guys have to police it. Our moderators can only do so much, and but the community itself, and again, a lot of you guys are doing a great job of policing it and setting the record straight and getting things back on course. But it doesn't change the fact that we have people in there that more or less probably for their own agenda, and it could be competitors. We don't know what the reasons are with some of the stories that are popping up in there, these crazy stories, but it's just something that we don't need. Because we want to be a corporate coin. We're taking ourselves to a whole new level here, and we don't want to be categorized as a coin that has a Discord that's dysfunctional. Now, we've had the word thrown around that it's toxic and all these other words, and quite frankly, it's true, and it's just not necessary. We don't need it, and we're not going to put up with it anymore. So thanks for bringing that up, Al.
Yeah, no worries. And just to add to that, Dave, I don't want to sound like the whole channel is negative. I think it might be 5%.
Yeah.
But it does kind of float to the top. And as we go out and, Ashley and I kind of test the temperature of the forums or the community, just to see, what's going on and how, what their feeling of XTRABYTES is. I think as we move forward and we start to release more information, that community will definitely turn around and be more positive. it'll just be a shame that you have some of these folks, some of the negative folks that have bailed. So be it. But they would have missed out on a huge opportunity in the future.
Well, there's lots of platforms that we can have information posted on. We have Reddit. We have lots of places where if somebody wants to post something negative, they can go right ahead, and we can put the rebuttals up there, and people download things. And that's if that's the way to do things, that's the way we'll do things. It's I believe it's much more professional, and it'll leave a much better image than a room that we can have people who are basically lurking in, who are preparing to do a blog, and then ended up writing something that's so great and talks about our technology, how good things are, and then having to close it off with the negativity that's coming from the community.
Yeah.
So it's just not right.
I think as we move forward, Ashley and I will both be in that, be visible to the world that dealing with these corporations on leveraging our blockchain technology or our platform. For the most part, as Ashley was saying, a lot of these folks don't really read Discord. They don't know Discord. Heck, I was new to Discord up until a couple of months ago. Coming from a corporate world, we've got other tools that we leverage, and there's other blogs, there's other modes of or routes of information. When we're sitting across from another CEO, CTO, CFO, C-level exec, we're going to be having that conversation in a one-on-one basis, as opposed to I know that the Discord site there's a lot of what do you want to call it, hiding behind pseudonyms or these avatars. We don't plan on doing that. So I know that currently I'm in a position where I'm not ready to reveal who I am, just because of some legalities with my current position that I'm just finalizing. Ashley, I think he's going to be announcing who he is, his background, shortly. But for the most part, I think what we're going to do is we're going to be locked away in the very near future for the 5 days with the founders. And once we come out of that, then it's, okay, we've got a plan, we're going to execute that plan, and in order to do so, it's not going to be hiding behind avatars or these pseudonyms. So if you want to talk to us, it'll be one-on-one.
I agree, Alex. We talk about this every now and then, and like Al knows, I literally have zero tolerance for negativity. And I explained to him we're going to get it regardless, but I said, I think really people should start really focusing on what we're going to be producing and when we're going to be producing some really quality applications and development, some very exciting tools in the future. That's going to really define us as a company. It's what we do, not what we say we're going to do. And, part of the reason why Dave brought us, on board is the fact is that me and Al execute. It's great to create, beautiful presentations, and so we can talk all we want to talk about, the technology. But until we start delivering something as quantitative and it's going to have an impact on the way people look at their business or even their lives, that's when we start being measured. And that's when I'll accept the criticism, because that's the criticism we can use positively to turn things around for us. Right now we're in the process of building the foundation of an absolutely amazing platform that's going to be sustainable. It's going to be around a long time, and it's what we're going to put on those things, and it's going to be very important to the success of the company. So is building partnerships, aligning partnerships with companies is going to be one of the things we're going to be looking at. Our corporate mandate, we're dealing with a lot of companies in different sectors of the marketplace, is going to be very important. And the way we're going to position the company, because if we can find ways to have a positive impact, you leveraging our technology, it just becomes part of the evolution of where our success is going to be. Where I vision, when a year from now we're going to have a conversation, we're not going to be talking about Discord, we're not going to talk about negativity, we're going to be talking about the really cool things that we're developing and we're putting out there.
Absolutely.
And then that becomes more the talk track, not necessarily, well, the guys are doing this or doing this, whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
So I think the audience may change, and when we start looking at releasing new exciting things as we move forward.
Awesome. Absolutely. All right. Well, hey guys, it's the wind seems to be picking up here a little more, so I'm not sure. Hopefully, this recording is going to be okay for us. But we're going to sign off for now. So I want to thank you all for listening, and stay tuned for our next series of information releases, I guess we can say.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
See what
pretty
we're
cool.
gonna do.
I like this. I like this format.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks,
Bye for
folks.
now.
Thank you.